My name is Victor Abel Esquire. I'm the Senior Legal Advisor under the auspice of Lawyers Alert, a human rights organization that advocates and protects the rights of women and vulnerable persons. Oftentimes, people have had that erroneous belief that the right to peaceful assembly and association is a moral obligation. But that is an erroneous belief, because the right to peaceful association and assembly is both a universal right and a fundamental right. As a matter of fact, the combined efforts of Article 20 of the Universal Declaration of Human Rights and Article 22 of the International Convention on Civil and Political Rights are to the effect that everyone should have a right to peaceful assembly and association. This right has been fundamentally and absolutely protected by the laws of Nigeria. The Constitution of Nigeria, which is the highest law of the land, the ground norm of the land, has provided for the fundamental rights of citizens. Chapter 4, Section 40 of the Constitution provides that everyone shall have the right to be in association with other persons for the protection of his interests. The operative word is shall, which makes it mandatory, which means no one can take away those rights that have been fundamentally bestowed on citizens by the Constitution. Therefore, the impact of this is that any other legislation that in one way or the other by implication is contrary to the provisions of Section 40 of the Constitution that provides for the fundamental rights of freedom of association and peaceful assembly. If any law is inconsistent with that provision, that law will, to the extent of its inconsistency, be rendered null and void. Then we are not surprised when in 2020, a federal high court in Lagos State ruled as inconsistent specific provisions of a federal enactment that makes it a crime for persons who have different sexual orientation not to gather peacefully under an assembly or an association, that it constitutes a crime. The Federal High Court rules that that provision is inconsistent with Section 40 of the Constitution and therefore null and void. Security operatives under the guise of agencies should therefore, for no reason, invade and impede upon any peaceful gathering, because these gatherings are constitutionally provided for and constitutionally protected by the law. It is therefore a duty on the part of security operatives to provide coverage, protection for gatherings that are peacefully constituted, because it is a constitutional requirement. Citizens should therefore not fold their arms in silence while their rights are undermined. Therefore, if there is any action taken on the part of anybody under the guise of security agency to undermine the gathering of peaceful assembly, the citizens have a right to remedies. They can either apply to court for two things. One, for an injunction, where they can restrain any agency from invading peaceful association and assembly. Secondly, they can apply for enforcement of their fundamental rights, where the courts can grant them damages for an infringement of a constitutionally protected and provided rights. Citizens should not fold their arms in silence while their rights are being taken away. In the colorful words of Nelson Mandela, he says, to deny citizens of their human rights is to challenge their very humanity. So let no one take away your constitutional rights. They should not be undermined, subjugated, or oppressed under the guise of agencies of the state. So do not fold your arms and stay in silence while your constitutional right is being taken away from you. It is your right to meet peacefully and associate with persons of the same interests. Seek for your rights, fight for your rights, and embrace your rights. This message has been brought to you today by Lawyers Alert through the support of CIVICUS.